Hi, and welcome back to Old School Flicks with Nick. If it's your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon for notifications. I'm trying to get my first 1,000 subscribers, and every little bit helps. These are 5 movies I would like to see released on 4K UHD. Ring, or Ringu as it's most affectionately known, is the very first Ring movie. Most people are familiar with this film because they know the plot revolves around a cursed VHS tape that after watching, you only have 7 days to live. Of course, this film is synonymous with Sadako, the terrifying dead girl with long black hair that climbs out of TV screens. We recently got a 4K restoration back in March 2019 from Arrow Video. A lot of companies will release a new 4K restoration on standard Blu-ray, and if sales are great, they usually go on to produce a 4K disc. Even though I have this Arrow release of Ring, I'm still hoping for a proper 4K release from Arrow Video. Galaxy Express 39 was something I discovered in the 90s one Saturday morning on the Sci-Fi channel. Galaxy Express 39 still holds up to this day in my opinion. It has a very gritty 70s western vibe. Kind of reminds me of Clint Eastwood, and for a few dollars more. This was a very well-known series from the late 70s and early 80s. It was so popular that it was released in Italy, as Italians really love westerns, and the whole feel of the anime in the movie really give off a western vibe, even though it takes place in outer space. There was a standard Blu-ray release that was released in February of 2019 from Discotek Media, but I'm still holding out for 4K transfer. Number 3, The Thing, 1982. One of the more well-known, beloved sci-fi horror films. For a lot of horror fans, this is definitely in their top 10 list. It has Kurt Russell in his prime, it has aliens, it has the Antarctic, and better yet, it has a great sense of dread that makes for a great movie to watch on a really cold winter night. Shout Factory released a new 4K scan on Blu-ray back in 2018 in a really cool steelbook. We can only hope one of those Blu-ray companies will release this new 4K scan with a lot of extras onto a really cool 4K disc. I'm looking at you, Studio Canal, as you've released a lot of John Carpenter movies in 4K over the past couple of years. Number 2, Dark City. Dark City can be summed up as sci-fi noir. This movie is about a man who wakes up in a hotel next to the body of a woman with no memory. He's forced to flee the scene as he's tracked by police and a group of men known as the Strangers. This movie takes place in a city where the sun never rises and it's always nighttime. There's a lot of dark scenes in this film that I think would benefit greatly from proper HDR. This Blu-ray has not had a new release since a 2017 French steelbook was released. I'm not even sure that that's a new transfer.
I know what I'm doing.
You're making a run at it, aren't you? Rolling up a stake and going to Vegas. All right. Right?
I can beat the game.
Maybe. Maybe this is a game can be beat.
Number 1, Rounders. I'm being totally biased when I put this in the number 1 spot, as this is one of my favorite films of all time. Rounders stars Matt Damon, Edward Norton, John Turturro, and John Malkovich. It's just an all-around great cast. This movie is about Mike, who's played by Matt Damon, a law student who's also a poker player who has his heart set on winning the World Series of Poker. Mike loses all of his money in an underground poker game hosted by Russian mobster KGB, played by John Malkovich, who's just a great character in this film. It's a very iconic role for John Malkovich. Mike decides to stop gambling as it's putting a strain on his relationship with his girlfriend, played by Gretchen Mol. Mike's childhood friend Worm gets out of prison a few months later, Mike helps him pay off his debts by entering the underground poker scene once again. This movie has always stood out to me because it's a very prime example of someone who has their back against the wall and they really have to hustle and get things together. If you're a fan of Gary Vee or any of those channels, it's about a hustling lifestyle, or if you're just really into poker, this is a great film. Solid recommendation. So those are my top 5 choices of movies that I would like to see released on 4K UHD. If you have any of your favorite films that you would like to see released on 4K, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon for notifications on further videos. Every little bit helps, and I'm grateful. Thanks for watching.